or 90% of people have a problem slicing the ball. You know, maybe the handicap's around 18 to 30 handicap. Majority of people start off really hitting the ball a long way to the left and it slices or curves back to the right. What I want to do is go through a few things that are really going to help straighten the shot up and give you a lower ball flight. You'll find if you're making that cutting across action, the divot is going left. We may hit some shots off to the left and curves to the right. It will tend to go very high as well. You'll find with the driver, we certainly was going to hit a very high to the right shot most of the time with not a lot of distance. But there are a couple of very small things that we can do to help you square the club face up. Just like in any sport, we're going to work on the club face and what your hands are doing. That's going to help you to hit the ball, you know, even if you're not in fantastic athletic position. If we understand what the club face should be doing, that's going to help to hit it sort of more down the fairway and give you a better chance of making some pars. So what I'd like you to do is grab a 6, around a 6 or a 7 iron. The most important thing in this is going to be working on your grip. Now that's the hardest thing to change, but what I'd like you to do in your left hand is to actually have it very much in the fingers, because what we need to do is when we hold on to the club in your left hand, I want you to hold on and see 3 knuckles. So if we hold the club, go through your normal routine, have it right out in the fingers, and when you're looking down on it, I want you to make sure that the left hand, if you're looking in the mirror, I want you to be able to see the patch. Normally if you're wearing a glove, whether it's Nike or Callaway, can see this logo here. Many of you, when you look in the mirror, you'll find that you won't be able to see the back of my hand here. I want you to make sure that we have the hand over on top and you can see at least 3 or 4 knuckles. Make sure you're doing that with the club face pointing straight up. Now when you put the right hand on, I want that to match a little bit. So the right hand is going to be more over towards your right shoulder. It's not going to be sitting on the club straight. It's going to be tilted a little over towards the right shoulder. Now if we get that grip correct, the next thing that we like to see if you tend to slice the ball is as you take the club back, we're going to swing back and get the club face pointing a little more at the ball. Normally if you watch most golf videos and people sort of teaching you, a lot of the time they'll tell you we've got to open the club face or the club has got to be pointing, toe of the club's got to be pointing up. For you to hit it more consistently and get a better body turn coming through the ball, not having to use your hands so much, what I'd like you to do is after we've got the grip, we can see the knuckles, 3 knuckles in the left hand, the right hand is pointing over towards the right shoulder. As you take away the club, what I'd like you to do is get the feeling that your hands and arms are quite close to you, but the club face is actually pointing down at the ball. So we haven't tried to manipulate it open. The club has just gone back and club face is pointing at the ball. Now when we swing back, that's going to help. Instead of having the club face pointing down like that, what I'd like you to try and do is actually make it feel like that it's more pointing up towards the sky. Now that's going to help you to make it much easier to square the club face up. So the 2 little checkpoints once you've got the grip is the takeaway. Rather than being rolled open, many a time you've been looking and trying to get it like a tour player, toe of the club up like this. What I want you to try and do is swing back. First checkpoint is pointing at the ball. Second one is at the top. I want you to make it feel like it's pointing more at the sky rather than down, and some of you will even be back this way. So I want the club face up at the sky. So you'll do 2 or 3 practice swings like that. Do the grip. Takeaway is pointing at the ball. Look at the top of the backswing. Try to get that club face pointing up at the sky. Swing through. And try hitting a few shots like that. Now, as you do that, it may take a very short time before you start hitting the ball off to the left. And that's okay to start off with. The path of your club and the plane of your swing will get a little better as you go. But on the golf course, if we combine that with just a little baseball swing, so we take the same grip. On the golf course, I'd like you to take the same grip, have the club out in front of you, and just make a few swings backwards and forwards, and really get the feeling that the club, your hands and arms are moving around to around on a flatter plane. You'll find when you start doing this, even baseball style, it will be more this way. And it's important when you make that baseball swing, stand up and hit the ball with maybe within 3 or 4 seconds. So what I'd like you to do on the golf course is you can take the practice swing behind you or to the side. Make sure we got that grip, 3 knuckles. The right hand is turned to the right shoulder. As we swing back, we're not thinking about the club face at the top and doing those checkpoints on the golf course. I want you to just make that baseball swing, swinging backwards and forwards. Now within 3 or 4 seconds, I'd just like you to stand up and just hit a few shots, going backwards and forwards. And that should give you a far better feeling of what the club should be doing. So just to run through that again. In the left hand, we don't want it straight. I want you to be able to see 3 knuckles in the left hand. Right hand is matching that on the right side. As you do the takeaway, point it back at the ball, club at the top, you're checking at home, you're checking when you practice, the club face, pointing more at the sky, and swing through. You hit 2 or 3 balls like that, then hit some full swing. On the golf course, I want you to just make that baseball swing. Check the grip, get the feeling on the golf course of really getting the hands, arms and club moving around to around. And I'm sure that'll give you even a few hooks out there rather than those slices.